After 5 years with David Miller, at his birthday gala, he publicly declared he'd never loved me. Jessica Reed, my first love rival, climbed over me, forcing me to kneel, dumping dirt on me, and even setting me on fire. But she never expected I'd secretly recorded everything and gathered evidence, bringing down both her and the Reed family. David cried, begging me to come back. Sorry, I stopped loving you a long time ago. After 5 years with David Miller, everyone knew I was the heir to the Miller fortune's cherished person. Everyone had seen David in a frenzy, crazy about me. But now, I had to watch him love someone else. It was David Miller's birthday gala, and almost half of the city's elite were there, including Jessica Reed, a woman who lived in my nightmares. Mr. Miller, it's your turn to draw a question. Call the person you love most in this life. As soon as the slip of paper was revealed, everyone collectively smiled and started cheering, their eyes on me. David said nothing, pulling out his phone. But just as he was about to dial, Jessica Reed's hand wrapped around David's wrist, gripping it tightly, looking pathetic. David lowered his head. I couldn't see his expression. The next second, Jessica Reed's phone rang. The previously noisy and lively venue fell silent instantly. Jessica Reed giggled as she answered the call from David, each word like knives twisting in my heart. David, have you never loved Emily Adams? David's face was cold, his knuckles white. Have you? Yes. David smiled. I stared blankly at the man in front of me, my heart aching. Jessica Reed didn't seem satisfied, picking up a dare slip and throwing it in front of me. 3 shots of the strongest liquor. Drink. She stared at me, her eyes full of contempt. Amidst the gasps from the crowd, I picked up the glass in front of me. David suddenly seemed panicked. Your body can't handle alcohol. Jessica Reed's expression shifted, and she instantly burst into tears. David, if she can't drink, then make Emily Adams kneel and apologize. She sat on David's lap, saying the most disgusting things in the most fragile tone. But as soon as Jessica Reed cried, David seemed to agree to anything. Reed family bodyguards came and held me down on the ground. David didn't even look at me directly. He said, if you just kneel, I can give you anything. I smiled weakly. Really? Can you give me back the 17-year-old David Miller? I was an orphan and also the adopted daughter of the Reed family. When I was 16, I was chosen because of my rare Rh-negative blood, becoming the Reed family's eldest daughter's human blood bank. But I had no status. I shared a room with the dog. Jessica Reed hated me, so everyone in the entire high school bullied me. One day, I fainted at my desk because I had given Jessica Reed too much blood. My male deskmate cursed, "This is damn unlucky, always fainting." After saying that, he threw the basketball in his hand hard at my back. But the next second, he was kicked away by a foot wearing sneakers. "If you don't want to sit here, get lost." An extremely cold but pleasant voice. That was my last conscious thought. When I woke up, my deskmate had changed. I was too scared to go sit down. It was David Miller, the most dazzling boy in the entire high school, Jessica Reed's crush. "What, did you faint and turn stupid? Sit down." David looked at me, frozen, his fingers curled slightly as he lazily tapped the desk. I sat down. But after school, Jessica Reed brought a group of people and slapped me twice directly to the ground. "Emily Adams, are you worthy of getting close to David Miller? Aren't you dirty?" I huddled in the corner. Just as I was at a loss, a large hand pulled me up. A cold voice made me shiver. "Emily Adams, you don't have legs, can't you run?" I followed David numbly, not understanding why he was so angry. Why did that Jessica Reed corner you? I was startled, and subconsciously mumbled, "It's all because of you." What? Fortunately, David didn't hear clearly. "Nothing, it's nothing." I lowered my head cautiously, not daring to speak. "Emily Adams, look at me. Emily Adams, pay attention to me. Emily Adams, I don't understand this problem, teach me." David always asked me why I didn't talk to him. The reason was simple, I would be beaten, and being beaten hurt a lot. "Because too many people like you, I'm scared." David suddenly propped his hand on the desk and tilted his head to look at me. Then do you like me, Emily Adams? My pen tip trembled. I didn't answer, just shook my head. David didn't say anything either, turned and left with the basketball. The moment he left, I was beaten by Jessica Reed again. They dragged me by the hair, shoved my head into the toilet water, and locked the door. See? How could I dare to like David Miller? As long as he got tired of me, I would fall into a deeper nightmare. I didn't dare to gamble, and I couldn't afford to. I don't remember how long it was. I heard David cursing. After a deafening kick to the door, I saw his sweat-soaked face. Damn it! David lifted me from the ground. My arms were covered in blood. But I smiled at him. Sorry, I caused you trouble. I forgot what David said, I only remember how tightly his arms held me. Later, David stopped playing basketball after class and just sat next to me, doing his homework in silence. My hearing wasn't great. David always leaned close to my ear when he spoke. It tickled, and I wanted to pull away, but I couldn't bring myself to. Emily Adams, why do your arms always have needle marks and bruises? I hid the arm I used for blood transfusions a little. Because I'm sick. What kind of sickness? Will you die? Are you scared? David's suddenly raised voice startled me. No, I won't, I'm not scared. I smiled and shook my head. Maybe when I become an adult and MFR. I won't have to give blood to my so-called sister anymore. Emily Adams, don't be afraid, I'm here. David smiled, the afternoon sunlight falling on the messy hair on his forehead. In that moment, I wavered a little. Perhaps there really was salvation in this world. David never asked me unnecessary questions, he just stayed by my side and walked me home. Emily Adams, lend me your notes to copy. David slipped a piece of candy into my hand. Okay. I subconsciously took out my notes and handed them to him. When I realized what I'd done, I immediately panicked and tried to grab them back. But David was too tall. I couldn't reach. Page 52 of the notebook clearly had a line written in small letters. I really like David Miller. David saw it. In that moment, my long-hidden crush was exposed. He paused for 2 seconds, then smiled and grabbed my backpack, running ahead. Emily Adams, come chase me. If you don't chase, how will you know you can't catch me? I didn't know if that sentence had any other meaning, but I did run towards him. I really liked David Miller. Jessica Reed would never let me go. How could she tolerate a lowly human blood bank having a chance to steal her man? On the way home, the moment David turned to leave, Jessica Reed found people to tie me up. She needed my blood, I couldn't die, but she wanted to destroy me directly. There was a hidden camera, props, and 2 men in the storage room. I curled up on the ground, trying to hit my head against the wall. Death was better than being violated, I thought. I don't know why David ran back. He stood in front of me alone. I watched, wide-eyed, as the knife was plunged into his body. He just smiled back. Emily Adams, don't be afraid, I'm here. I cried like crazy. David, I'm not scared, please move aside. Move. David didn't move. The police arrived quickly. There was no security footage, and in the end, they couldn't find out who did it. At that time, the Reed family was the wealthiest in the city, while the Miller family was just starting to make a name for itself. The first thing David did when he woke up was look for me. I stood to the side, staring at him blankly, and quietly asked, David, are you crazy? David smiled gently and recklessly. Yes, I am. That single sentence shattered all my defenses. When I was 17, I had a sudden heart attack and was hospitalized. I was in the intensive care unit for a long time, unconscious. David, who had never believed in gods or Buddha, undertook a grueling pilgrimage to Blackwood Hill, climbing for a day and a night, kneeling every step of the way. His legs were almost completely covered in scabs. He only prayed for my safety. My life was a mess. How could I dare to expect anyone to love me? But in that moment, I truly believed in salvation. So I spent 5 years walking 99 steps towards David. Unfortunately, when I was just one step away from the end, David was no longer there. Leaving David Miller's birthday gala, my thoughts slowly returned to the present. It had been about 2 years since I last saw David. Through my own efforts, I had managed to become a barely known actress. I didn't earn much, but it was enough to support myself. The evening breeze was cool. He was now the famous heir to the Miller fortune in the city's elite, but there was no place for me by his side. After thinking about it, I took a taxi to Blackwood Hill, the place David had once prayed. I wanted to know why the man who had been so devoted, kneeling every step of the way, had suddenly changed his heart. Thousands of lighting candles gradually lit up. I stared blankly. I didn't understand. I was clearly kind, helping people cross the street, donating money to the orphanage, yet why had every kind of suffering in this world not spared me? Emily Adams. A familiar voice suddenly sounded from behind me. I turned around, and it was Jessie. C.A. Reed. Let's talk. I was expressionless, feeling no interest in her, even wanting to vomit. At least we were like sisters, Jessica Reed said with a mocking giggle. And it's about David Miller. The hillside diner wasn't far. The night was late, and there were only the two of us in the diner. Jessica Reed, wearing a custom dress David had given her, looked down at me condescendingly. Emily Adams, sometimes I really think your luck is better than my dog's. If my family hadn't adopted you, you would never have met David Miller in this life. And you wouldn't have enjoyed David Miller's love for 5 years. I knew Jessica Reed wouldn't say anything nice. She tried to provoke me, but it didn't work. Oh really? Maybe without me, you'd be dead by now, Jessica Reed. By rights, you should call me Mom. I wasn't angry, and my words were unhurried. You. Jessica Reed was enraged. But then Jessica Reed smiled seductively again. Fine, Emily Adams. I came here to tell you that David and I are getting engaged. The day David took me to buy the wedding ring, he personally told me how disgusting you, Emily Adams, were in his eyes. I stared blankly at the ring on Jessica Reed's hand, the pain in my heart slowly spreading. So that day I ran into David at the jewelry endorsement event. He was buying a ring. The ring was for someone else. If he hated me so much, why did he bother me in the first place? I lowered my head and smiled. Miss Reed, if David truly loves you that much, why are you so eager to show off in front of me? David and I broke up 2 years ago. Jessica Reed, what you've gone to such lengths to get is what I didn't want anymore. I looked at her with calm eyes, every word clear and forceful. As expected, Jessica Reed got angry. Her eyes looked like they wanted to eat me alive. While I was stunned, Jessica Reed suddenly cackled. I was startled. She instantly took out a lighter and lit the tablecloth. A terrifying red glow instantly spread everywhere. You're crazy, Jessica Reed. I lifted my leg to run, but Jessica Reed grabbed my wrist, gripping it tightly. She was truly insane. Jessica Reed's expression was almost pathological. She smiled at me. Want to make a bet, Emily Adams? Who do you think David Miller will save first? Pinned tightly by Jessica Reed, I couldn't break free at all. I could only curl up tighter and tighter in the thick smoke. Why, after all these years, could I still not escape Jessica Reed's torment? Flames engulfed everything. I watched, wide-eyed, as David carried Jessica Reed away in front of me. The thick smoke blurred my consciousness. Suddenly, I remembered the earthquake in the mountains years ago. David instinctively shielded me tightly, his eyes full of love. If anyone's going to die, it'll be me first. Don't be afraid, Em. I nodded. I really wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid even if the sky fell. But I never expected that the sincere and passionate David Miller from that year would become the final knife plunged into me. The surroundings grew hotter and hotter. I gripped the keepsake in my hand tightly, staring numbly at David's hurried retreating figure. David, I hurt so much. This time, no one told me. Don't be afraid, Em. I was woken up by my phone ringing. My agent had called incessantly, yelling hoarsely. Emily Adams, what the hell did you do? Let me tell you this now, If the company's points drop because of your messed up business, you'll have to pay your huge penalty. Beep, beep, beep. Sarah. I didn't even have a chance to speak. The call was cut off. I shifted my legs, wrapped in bandages. After much hesitation, I clicked on the trending online topics. Hashtag lesser-known actress Emily Adams and actress Jessica Reed private meeting catches fire. Hashtag Emily Adams, ex-girlfriend of the city's elite big shot David Miller. Hashtag little lover Emily Adams get out of the entertainment industry. Hashtag reasonable suspicion the fire was started by Emily Adams. Overwhelming rumors spread online, and there were even fake alleged proof photos. I didn't need to think to know it was Jessica Reed's doing. I had stayed far away from her and David's lives. Why did she have to push me to the brink? I threw my phone aside. The pain in my legs had gone numb. But suddenly, there was a loud argument outside the hospital room. Two voices I knew all too well, David Miller and Jessica Reed. 10 minutes later, Mrs. Reed burst in like a madwoman. She roughly pulled the foreline from my arm and dragged me out. Blood flowed down my hand to my fingertips. My bandaged legs hurt intensely. Quick, give my daughter a blood transfusion. Jessica Reed's old condition had flared up again. But why should I give blood? I wasn't the Reed family's adopted daughter anymore. I had no obligation. I shook off the woman's hand, using all my strength to sit up straight on the hospital bed, wanting to argue back. She saw my attitude and sneered maliciously. Emily Adams, it's possible to be potentially sentenced for leaving your sister to die. I have the best lawyers in the city, enough to put someone like you behind bars for good. I forgot. This world is ultimately a game for those with power, and I was just a chess piece that could die at any moment. David Miller, who had been standing with his back to me, suddenly turned around. Can you do it? I placed the keepsake I had been clutching in my hand under the pillow. Looking up at this unfamiliar man, I smiled despairingly and quietly asked, "Do I have a choice?" He said, just this once, the last time. Just this once? But I would die. But I didn't have any other choice. That thick blood transfusion needle pierced my skin. I closed my eyes. I still remembered when the Reed family first came to adopt me. Mrs. Rodriguez cried with joy. She said, "Our good Em finally doesn't have to live a hard life anymore. To be chosen by the Reed family in the city. It's truly a blessing from heaven. Em is so kind, she deserves to live a good life." But Mrs. Rodriguez was wrong. And I was wrong too. If I had been more resolute back then, none of this might have happened. The adoption information brought by the Reed family included details about the high school. And in that document, there was a picture of David Miller. I knew him. David and his parents came to the orphanage to donate when I was little. I was hiding in the corner, crying. Young David put a piece of candy in my hand. "Why are you crying?" "They all left me." His childish eyes stared at me unblinking, then he suddenly smiled softly and said, "I won't leave you. If you take this candy, you have to remember me always. I won't leave you. Come find me if you get a chance, Emily Adams." A child's joke, I treasured it for 10 years. Later, I did find David Miller, and he did leave me. The trending online topics didn't cool down, instead, they continued to escalate. Jessica Reed contacted my agent, specifically requesting that I appear on the same reality show as her. My humiliation was her vulgar pleasure. I gripped the medical report I had just received, shook my head, and smiled calmly. This time, things might not go exactly as Jessica Reed wished. As soon as our first meeting was officially announced, the comments section was instantly flooded. There were dozens of pages of comments, not a single good word to describe me. Daily question: why isn't Emily Adams dead yet? How can this kind of malicious woman still appear on a show? Is the production team crazy, or did some director get a hold of her? Boycott her, boycott this disgraced artist completely, feel sorry for our kind Jessica. Staring at the dense writing, not a ripple formed in my heart. This online verbal bullying was nothing compared to what Jessica Reed did to me in high school. Suddenly, a pop-up appeared on my phone screen. My fingertip hovered over the familiar phone number for a long time. David and I had broken up 2 years ago. Other than him depositing a sum of money into my account every month, there was no other contact between us. I had never touched the money in that account. In the end, I answered. There was no one speaking on the other end, only the sound of a lighter flicking open and closed twice. Something wrong? My voice was a little heavy. There was still no response from the other side. I patiently spoke again. Mr. Miller, I really can't give your fiancé a blood transfusion anymore. Can you find someone else? The only reason David would contact me was for Jessica Reed. But half a second later, David hung up. I shrugged and turned to organize the surveillance camera footage I had retrieved from the high school earlier that morning. Glancing at it inadvertently, I wasn't sure if it was my imagination, but it seemed like fewer people were cursing me in the comments section. But I didn't care. They could curse all they wanted, I would live my life. The outdoor filming location chosen was a campsite, dotted with stars, creating a great atmosphere. Before I even entered, a hater poured water all over me. The cold water made it hard to open my eyes. When I recovered, I saw David Miller arm in arm with a radiant Jessica Reed. What a handsome couple. The expressions of the guests instantly turned to pointing and whispering. Did you hear? That Emily Adams who got water poured on her is the mistress who interfered in the actress's relationship. That makes sense, she deserves to have water thrown on her, she has the look of a vixen. How does she even have the nerve to show up? Look how in love Mr. Miller and Jessica are. I heard David endured humiliating negotiations with the director for Jessica Reed's resources, even suffering severe stress/illness resulting in stomach bleeding. Jessica Reed gets whatever she wants, no expense spared, she's completely pampered. How Emily Adams. Stay away from her, be careful she ruins our audience favor. I slowly wiped the dripping water from my eyes and wisely moved to the side. Suddenly, I accidentally bumped into something, and a white towel unexpectedly covered my eyes. I was startled, instinctively thinking it was another prank or physical attack. But then I heard a clear voice. Aren't you cold? My assistant happened to bring a towel, you can use it if you don't mind. I took off the towel and stared blankly at the young woman in front of me. She seemed to be a rising star named Riley Green. Aren't you afraid of me? I blurted out subconsciously. Why would I be afraid of you? You're not a murderer, Riley Green said naturally, blinking her eyes. Oh well, isn't it just David Miller's ex-girlfriend? Public opinion changes very quickly, don't worry too much about it. I got dragged through the mud before too. She smiled at me and naturally linked her arm through mine. Anyone who could be friends with her must be very happy. Most of the guests had arrived. During the game segment, the organizers collected everyone's phones. We sat around the bonfire, drew game cards, and spun a bottle to pick someone. The card I drew said, randomly designate one person to hug for 3 minutes. 3 seconds later, the bottleneck pointed steadily at David Miller among the dozen or so people. The organizers' eyes instantly lit up. But I didn't hesitate at all, giving a hoarse chuckle. Sorry, I'll take a penalty drink. Stop pretending. Keep it down, you'll get caught on the microphone. I just can't stand her, she's a wretch. The glass at my lips was roughly snatched away and thrown to the ground by a hand. David's face was terrifyingly dark. His familiar voice sounded in my ear. Emily Adams, you can't touch a drop of alcohol, don't you know that? Mr. Miller, what right do you have to say that? I took a step back. Your fiancé seems to be in a bad mood? I looked at David, raising my chin and gesturing towards Jessica Reed. I expected David to turn and go back to her. But he acted as if he hadn't heard the words fiancé, unmoved and persistent with me. Emily Adams, does hugging me for 3 minutes disgust you that much? I was stunned, but then I shrugged. Yes, that's right. Anyone who hugs Jessica Reed's man is disgusting. I said in a voice only David could hear, sounding completely casual. David was whispering to me in front of everyone, and Jessica Reed's face was turning green with rage. But a moment later, she got even angrier. Jessica Reed's agent suddenly ran over in a panic and pulled her away. The anonymous post I had scheduled online seemed to be working. Jessica Reed must have paid to suppress the trending topics. Even if David hadn't stopped me, I wouldn't have drunk that glass of alcohol. I didn't want to die so soon, not before seeing Jessica Reed ruined. David took a call and also left the scene. The recording was forced to pause. What happened? Why does Jessica look so panicked? Trending online. Quickly look at the trending topics. Oh my god, the explosive video is out. Is this real, or is it defamation? Everyone was looking down, gossiping. Riley Green suddenly patted my shoulder. Emily Adams, are you okay? Your lips are so pale, you're trembling. The sudden concern made me feel a little overwhelmed. I suppressed the inexplicable pain in my heart and forced a smile towards Riley Green, probably looking terrible. I'm fine, just a little tired. Can I lean on your shoulder for a moment? Of course, don't be shy. I just had to bear it. I exhaled carefully because of the pain. Riley Green didn't look at what was trending online. She kept looking at me. She kept talking to me. Emily Adams, I think that David Miller still likes you. If that's the case, and you're David's ex, shouldn't Jessica Reed be the mistress? The trending topic. Are so ridiculous. David Miller always has a cold face when he attends events with Jessica Reed. I've never seen him get angry like that before. Tell me, Emily Adams, did you break up with him first? Ha ha ha, that's the way to empower us women. I strongly support you taking David back. Jessica Reed is always acting like a diva. I really can't stand her. Riley Green chatted away, watching me and quietly wiping away my sweat. Seriously, Emily Adams, do you really not need to go to the hospital? Amidst Riley Green's rambling, the pain in my heart gradually eased. Riley Green, thank you. What are you thanking me for? Thank you for being willing to believe me. Thank you for not being afraid of me. She was truly like an angel. As expected, a new round of trending topics suppressed the previous high school bullying incident. All sorts of people came out with all sorts of evidence claiming the video was edited/fabricated. The only trending topic left was hashtag Emily Adams wanted to burn Jessica Reed to death. Things unfolded exactly as I had anticipated. I calmly replied to the trending topic with an audio recording. It was the audio from the day Jessica Reed set the fire. Luckily, I had the presence of mind to record it that day. As soon as the comment was posted, the likes and shares skyrocketed. I could even imagine Jessica Reed's furious face as she slapped her assistant. For some reason, my so-called adoptive parents miraculously didn't come to bother me. David didn't come to bother me either. He seemed to have suddenly disappeared from Jessica Reed's side. Riley Green called me excitedly, practically screaming with enthusiasm. I knew being friends with you was the right choice. This is explosive, it's so explosive. I could imagine Riley Green bouncing on her bed in excitement at that moment. I smiled gently. Is it really that exciting? Oh, right. I also heard that the Miller family and the Reed Corporation are battling. I was stunned for a few seconds. David Miller and Jessica Reed? I heard Riley Green continue, you didn't know? I thought it was because of you. I was fantasizing about it. I almost had a whole novel plotted out. I didn't know. I really didn't know, but it probably had nothing to do with me anyway. Corporate battle, that's all. Never mind, never mind. Let's see how Jessica Reed bounces back this time. Bullying RM, she deserves this. Maybe not. The Reed Corporation isn't easy to deal with. Maybe in a couple of days, I'll be arrested by the police and accused of spreading rumors. Bah, what are you saying? I, Riley Green, am standing right here. Let's see who dares arrest RM. So this is what it feels like to have someone always stand by you. Jessica Reed's situation continued to escalate for a long time, with no response or conclusion from her. She did post on her burner account, some people want to use technologically fabricated false information to gain my traffic. Stealing my boyfriend wasn't enough, now they want to steal my actress position too? Naked insinuation. The implied meaning was simply that both pieces of evidence were fake. But privately, Jessica Reed's agent had contacted me several times. She must be feeling guilty. A few days later, I agreed to meet. Riley Green repeatedly told me to be careful, and if there was any problem, she would call the police immediately. I laughed and cried at the same time, but I was extremely grateful for my luck. When I saw Jessica Reed again, she was noticeably thinner. I didn't know if it was because of the trending topics or something else. But her condescending tone hadn't changed one bit. "Emily Adams, you wretch." If her agent hadn't held her back, she probably would have lunged at me and slapped me. My expression didn't show any reaction. "Didn't you say you wanted to talk about a settlement? If you're just going to act crazy, I'm leaving." "Pa. Lowly thing. Why did Mom bring you back in the first place?" "Lowly?" I smiled faintly. "Jessica Reed, it's precisely this lowly person who gave nearly 10 years of blood transfusions and saved your wretched life. I still don't understand why you're so determined to kill me." "I never provoked you." I asked this question sincerely. Jessica Reed's eyes instantly turned red. "Because I hate you. You didn't do anything, you just kept pretending to be pitiful and won David's heart. I loved him for over 10 years, but you showed up for just 1 month and stole him away. David never loved me. Emily Adams, you deserve to die. That fire in the diner should have burned you to death." As soon as Jessica Reed said this, her agent quickly covered her mouth. But it was no use. I took out the miniature hidden camera and microphone I had hidden in the bag on my chest and gently showed it to Jessica Reed. "If this is broadcast live nationwide, no one will say the evidence is fabricated anymore." Jessica Reed's legs gave out, and she sat on the ground in disbelief. She clearly hadn't expected that the useless person who used to huddle in the restroom stall and be at everyone's mercy would pull her down from her pedestal. "Impossible, fake, Emily Adams, you set me up. You and David planned this together to get revenge on me. Did you make David betray the Reed family? Come to a bad end, you'll all come to a bad end." Jessica Reed became more and more agitated. She instantly broke free from her agent's grasp, grabbed a small knife from somewhere, and lunged at me. She was too close. I didn't have time to react. I could only stare blankly. Holy crap, then what happened? Riley Green was curled up at my place, leisurely eating sunflower seeds, her ears perked, nagging me to continue the story. I got a glass of warm water, tilted my head back, and swallowed the white pills in my hand. Then the police you called arrived. They came just in time, I almost boo. GHT the farm, friend. I rubbed my shoulder with one hand, gesturing to Riley Green. But Riley Green's gossipy expression instantly froze. "But I didn't call the police?" "Stop kidding, if you didn't call, then." Suddenly, something came to mind, and I swallowed the words just as they reached my lips. I lowered my eyebrows, looked down, and took a sip of the warm water. The medicine was really bitter. Riley Green saw my expression and didn't press me further. After a while, she opened her mouth. "It was David Miller, wasn't it?" Looking at the girl beside me, I smiled and shook my head. "It doesn't matter anymore." Riley Green raised an eyebrow but didn't continue questioning. "Oh, right, there's something I forgot to tell you, I heard the Reed family is finished. Jessica Reed's mom suddenly went crazy for some reason, and yesterday her dad went to prison." I turned to look at Riley Green in shock, utterly surprised. Riley Green rubbed my hair, comforting me a little, and continued, "The news hasn't been published yet, but pretty much everyone with connections in the social scene knows. And David Miller personally brought down the Reed family's company. He personally brought down his girlfriend's family's company. Now nobody in the city's elite dares cross him." Riley Green talked to herself, and after a while, she didn't hear me respond. "Are you even listening, Emily Adams?" I was listening, but I couldn't speak. I lay back on the sofa, clenching one hand, clutching my heart, struggling to breathe. Riley Green turned around, startled. "What's wrong, Em? Don't scare me." When I woke up, Riley Green was looking down at my medical report. When she saw I was awake, she actually looked apologetic. "I'm so sorry, Em. I didn't know you had such a severe heart condition. If I had known, I wouldn't have said anything about David Miller to upset you. I'm really, really sorry." She was almost crying, looking at me with concern. I propped myself up and sat, playfully swatting Riley Green. What are you talking about, friend? It has nothing to do with you. It was just that my episodes had become more and more frequent recently. Riley Green still looked worried. You're saying that, friend, you scared me to death. I finally met a friend I like so much. Aren't the prognosis results for congenital heart disease much better now? Why did the doctor look so serious just now? Because I had too many blood transfusions. Each transfusion put an extra burden on my heart. By the time Jessica Reed had fully recovered, the doctor had almost shouted at me, saying I absolutely couldn't have any more blood transfusions in the future. One more major transfusion, and my life would be like opening a mystery box, with the risk of dying at any moment. But I didn't have a choice back then. It's okay, it's just an old problem. The doctor is making a big deal out of nothing. I lowered my head and smiled, not daring to look Riley Green in the eye. On the way home, a familiar voice in the hallway made me pause for a moment. Emily Adams. In the darkness, the red glow of a cigarette tip flickered on and off. This was the scene I had fantasized countless times after breaking up, of David Miller coming back to find me. But today, I felt somewhat relieved. Mr. Miller, long time no see. I smiled generously and gently at David. David put out his cigarette. Although he had just won a spectacular corporate battle, I could only see fatigue and weariness on his face. I'm sorry. The Reed family used leverage against my parents to threaten me. My mom threatened suicide, and my dad was hospitalized with a heart condition. I had no choice. I couldn't just watch them die. I'm sorry. I stared at the red veins in his eyes and slowly said, David, I'm doing very well now. So, you don't need to be sorry. David was clearly not satisfied with my answer. His expression became more stubborn. RN. Emily Adams, please turn back and look at me, I'll give you anything. Behind his back, where he couldn't see, my hands were clenched and soaked with sweat. The dusk light fell on my face. I looked up at David, only slightly curving my lips. David, I never blamed you. But David, I don't want you anymore. In that dim hallway, the once so spirited young man's face instantly turned deathly pale. I turned and left without hesitation. David hadn't done anything wrong, he had just made a choice between his parents and me. Before we broke up, David always said, just wait for me a little longer, it'll be over soon. But David, I don't want to love you anymore, and I don't have time to love you anymore. I did benefit from Jessica Reed's traffic, quickly gaining some popularity in the industry. I turned down all acting scripts and only participated in some slow-paced travel reality shows. In the limited days I had left, I wanted to live well. David didn't give up pursuing me. The trending online topic of the heir to the Miller fortune publicly showing affection to win back his ex-girlfriend appeared every day. Many people gossiped, but no one knew what truly happened between us. They just quietly said that Emily Adams was ungrateful. Riley Green became more and more attached to me, but I acted like a player, always advising her not to put all her eggs in one basket with me. To make more friends. Riley Green was angry and didn't talk to me for a long time. When I brought Maya Taylor to her, she gasped. No way, Emily Adams, you're serious. Yeah. I winked playfully. The result was that the three of us bonded quickly and became inseparable, going everywhere together. That way, when I was gone, Riley Green wouldn't be so sad, I thought. I had a few episodes recently, but I managed to grit my teeth and get through them. Sometimes, when I closed my eyes, I would dream of David Miller. How could I not have regrets? He was such a dazzling my entire youth. The day of the fire, the keepsake I got on Blackwood Hill had only one sentence written inside. Wished for David's long life. David never called my phone. But that one time, David called unexpectedly. But no one answered. I could hear the sound, but I didn't have the strength to pick up the phone. I don't know why David showed up so quickly. Seeing me curled up in pain at home, he instantly went crazy. Emily Adams, it's okay, I'll call a doctor right away. He was trembling, his words slurred. I clutched my chest with one hand and gently tugged at David's clothes with the other. Emily Adams, please, please don't fall asleep. Okay. I'm sorry, I beg you. David, don't cry. I really wanted to say that, but I couldn't make a sound. The pain in my heart gradually faded. I was so sleepy, I closed my eyes. I seemed to see that summer, David grabbing my backpack. He said, Emily Adams, come chase me. But David, I couldn't catch you. I couldn't catch you since that summer when I was 17.